like it.
But yeah, it's always a cold start with me. You know, we just get straight into it.
Yeah, and obviously we go now.
Yeah, we've been live.
We're live, baby.
Yeah, Biggleswade boys.
Yes, up the Biggleswade boys.
So what's you still living in Biggleswade, or are you?
So, well, I don't know whether I can actually call myself a Biggleswade boy.
You're a Potton boy, aren't you?
I'm a Potton boy, but I'm a wannabe Biggleswade boy. I want to be there, but
one of the few.
Yeah, but it's just because I live my life in Biggleswade. Yeah, there's not many Potton boys. I grew up in Potton. I don't think I really hang out with anyone from Potton anymore, or talk to anyone from Potton anymore, because they're just like, I'm in Biggleswade, or I'm just in my house.
Yeah, I only know I know two people technically three now, but two people in Potton, and that's you, and then a guy like my dad's like colleague, like partner, who's like just some like old dude who.
Potton's full of old dudes.
It's a very old dude place. I went to the skate park there a couple months ago.
They've done it up. It's quality.
Yeah, it's busy though,
mate. Yeah,
and like I kind of was just into the idea of like going to all the local parks, but I don't know. Potton just has an odd vibe.
Oh mate, it is weird.
Yeah,
honestly, Potton is a weird place. Like the young people in Potton are super violent. Like.
I just want to be like Chavs, Roadman, that kind of thing.
I was running last night, just out and about, and then like these kids, they must have been like 11 years old, come chasing after me, run faster, run faster. Like literally, like it. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but I never would have done that. Like, or I wouldn't know anyone that would like get right up and close and personal like these kids do now.
Yeah.
And like you can just tell, like by the way, like kids these days dress as well, like that they want to be like that.
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's so weird. But yeah, weird vibe down Potton skate park, and there always has been.
Oh yeah, it's like there's like a resurgence of like young families there, but there's still like just proper wrong-uns that I'm like,
mate.
Ooh.
But I've heard Biggleswade is worse though.
Yeah, well I don't know, because Biggleswade's never really, I guess it's because I've been there like a lot, and like since they've redone the park there. And like that whole Saxon area is generally, because it's all like new builds, so generally like the people there aren't all too wonky, you know.
When I went down there back in the day, I used to get well scared, proper scared down Biggleswade skate park, but it was the best in the area, I think, at the time.
It had a spine that people would rave on about.
That like, little mini one.
Yeah, everyone was obsessed with that.
It was a good one.
But no, I met a couple of like skate friends that I'm still friends with today, back when I was young, through that skate park. But yeah, like Biggleswade, like in general, I never really like. All I remember was do you remember the old retail park?
Oh mate, yeah, with Brantano,
Matalan, like the old Matalan.
Oh mate.
If there's a smell, like that place just smelled fucking odd.
Mate, when I was literally thinking back to that the other day. The place was so weird. It looked so run down. When I actually think about it back then, it's like why did this bring people in? It looked terrible.
My there was a cereal factory over the road, I think, because my uncle worked there for a little bit. Something like that. Like that's one of my like only connections to Biggleswade in general.
Mate, because I listened to your other podcast, said that you don't have nothing to do with Biggleswade pretty much, and probably like for good reason.
Luckily you're not one of them, but there's generally when it comes to people who I've known from Biggleswade, the majority of them I've never seen eye to eye with.
And you know what? I can see why. People in Biggleswade, because it's like the biggest town. If you think about it, it's like the biggest town around like Potton, Sandy, Biggleswade, even like Shefford. It's the biggest place. So a lot of people come there. And I remember when I went to Stratton Upper School, and I just remember like the Biggleswade people were so confident compared to people that were coming from like other areas like Potton or Sandy. And I was so scared of them. Like, and literally like they're just other 13-year-olds at the time, but they just seemed like rougher, more confident, louder. And I feel like that people from Biggleswade, they're like, even when we've grown, like I feel like I've integrated into Biggleswade now, but even if I compare like Biggleswade people my age to people like from Sandy my age, they act a lot different.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and I think it's because of Biggleswade had its own like little culture, and I've never thought of it like that before. But it's actually there's a big difference, I think.
I think, yeah, it's just had this resurgence. I mean, one of the things I was touched on last episode, and I don't really want this to turn into like a property price podcast, but it got cheap there quick because all the new builds, they're relatively cheap for the area. So I think like Biggleswade's just had this new wave of population who are kind of changing the game a bit.
There's a lot of policemen in Biggleswade.
Oh yeah,
yeah, literally like when
it's the only skate park I've been to when like I'd be there for an hour and there would be like 2 laps of police. Like
Mate,
they would always be like,
there's loads, and even like like people that don't work in Biggleswade because it's from the people from the Met. There's loads literally because in my old gym, just most people that signed up would be like in the police.
Jones's.
It was weird. Yeah, Jones's. That's the first bit of fitness. First bit of fitness has come up.
Obviously, yeah. It'll be future in the future of this episode. Will probably be more in depth, but yeah, like loads of policemen in Biggleswade. It's just a great place to be in terms of like for trains, isn't it? For London. Yeah, the access and everything.
40 minutes on the train, bang.
A lot of my friends have now moved to Biggleswade, and that's like who I link up with, like who are normally, because especially when it's like Shefford and Stotfold and Arlesey and these areas, they always have like weird inaccessibility issues, but Biggleswade's like there, you know.
Yeah. I
mean, I could get to work in the morning back in the day in like 6 minutes on the A1 compared to
See, that's what I love about it. It's you can get places quite quickly in Biggleswade. It's just like it's direct route. It's either the train or the A1, and then you're on your way. You're getting there.
You're in.
Yeah.
I find it cute that you said how you used to get intimidated by the people like at Biggleswade, because I remember when we first, I guess not technically first time I saw you, met you in our induction.
Yeah.
Fucking like 4 or 5 years ago.
I was thinking about this a lot on the way.
Oh my god! I mean, you have I didn't realize you were going through what you were going through at the time, but I thought you were just this like stoic, like, you know, tough boy at the back of the room, weren't saying much. I was like, oh, look at this kid. What's he going to be like working with? It's going to be some. I literally thought you were going to be some gym numbskull that I'd just be like, yeah, you're right.
Oh mate, I'm just shy. I'm just so shy. Like, I'm always like that with especially back then. Before, I feel like I've changed a lot since then.
I think since your more recent career choice, you've changed more like for the better, at least.
I think I was just really bad at talking to people. Like even in school, like I think it all stems back from probably moving to the middle school I did. I just felt so intimidated by people not like in a bad way, in more of a scared way sort of thing. Like, be like, I don't have a reason to talk to them. I shouldn't try.
Yeah.
And I think going into new things, like for example, that job role, I was like, I felt like I couldn't approach people. And it's weird because now like I would not have a problem. I feel more secure in myself as well. And especially at that time, I think when I was like 16, 17, 18, I was so insecure. I didn't really know who I was. And I feel like then you don't know what you should be bringing to a conversation. And that's why I think I became such good friends with you, because I liked the fact that you knew who you were. And you might disagree with me, but it seemed like you've got your things that you like. You love your cars, you love your fashion. And I was thinking, this guy is so cool. He's got himself figured out.
Stop, I'm blushing.
But like, that's probably I think why we became such one of the many reasons why we became good friends, because I was just thinking, you know what you want, you know what you like, and I think I wanted that. And like, because the reason why I was at Cotswold, because I didn't know what to do.
You just picked it up because it was local, and
because I was just like, I didn't want to go to uni. I didn't want an apprenticeship, and I was just thinking I need to do something. and then I saw a running shop's opened up. I love running. Let's go down that route. And then the rest is history with Cotswold. What a place to work, eh?
Yeah, well, I'll give context wise. So before Cotswold, what you were long distance?
Yeah, long distance running.
Kind of, you were like, I mean, you've always been, I think, pretty well built, but back then you were definitely slender compared to.
Yeah, I was about
now.
15 kilos lighter.
Yeah.
And even at Cotswold, I'd started to put on some timber, but maybe give that a year earlier, I would have been probably 5 kilos lighter than that.
Yeah, I remember there was a sheer difference between the day you left Cotswolds and the first time you like visited.
Been banging gym big time.
Man, I thought you were on tea for a minute.
Really?
I was like,
no, it's just.
I was checking out your veins, like,
mate,
popping?
Don't worry, it's just that natural testosterone, the hairline. If
the hairline goes, the gains come. That's how it works. You trade it up.
I think it must be because like.
Well, let's struck a question out there. Do you think creatine causes your hair to recede? Because that is a big...
think, mate. This is the thing. Like I read it, and because it was happening anyway. I was hoping it must be the creatine, and then I kind of like stopped taking it for a while, and just realised. I looked at my dad.
Yeah.
I looked at my dad's dad, and when I went to my granddad's, I looked at a picture of his dad, and I was realising, there's no point me trying to deflect this onto other things. It is purely genetics with me.
Yeah.
And then I look at like them as well. Like my dad and my dad's dad, they're quite big built people. I was just thinking, I think it's just natural testosterone levels, because I found it very easy to put on muscle mass, and I was always very lean as well. And they're both signs of, having high testosterone. So, and the hairline as well. So, that's probably what it is. What do you think? You reckon creatine? Because you've got a lovely head of hair. You reckon creatine does?
Well, you've seen. I don't know if you've met my dad, but
I haven't ever met my dad.
The majority of my family are pretty bald.
Really?
And I've definitely got peaks. Like,
is it starting?
Either side. I mean, I say starting. It started when I was like 17, but it's paused.
Yeah.
And like this most recent bleach was because I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like last time I'll bleach my hair. But last year, I had about a 6-month stint of, I think, 10 milligrams a day creatine.
Right, yeah.
I was just trying to push numbers, and it worked. Like, it was really good. I probably felt my best in performance.
How did your stomach feel?
I didn't have any issues.
Oh, really?
No. I have natural stomach problems anyway because of other reasons, but because maybe that was, but no, like, because I remember even, do you remember? I don't know if you were still working. There was about a year period at Cotswolds where I just had acid reflux for like a year.
I think so,
and it was just down to stress in the end. But I was popping Gaviscons out my ass.
I've got a lot of friends that just literally pop Gaviscon for fun just because of their stomach. But yeah, no, well, that's good that it didn't cause you problems, because I always find that it doesn't sit the best with me anyway. But if I have like more than the sort of the 500 ml scoop, it does me in. Like, it doesn't feel quite right in my stomach. So just wondered how that made you feel.
Well, I had mine with my shakes after the gym.
Oh, nice.
So I was setting up for the next day.
Do you have the unflavoured one?
Yeah, just the mono. Just
so you don't have to have an extra drink.
On nutrition. Yeah. So I would just stick that in with I had like, I think my best shake mix at one point was, my protein, I'm full no lactose now, really, pretty much.
Right, okay.
Especially not milk anyway. So oat milk, creatine, like authentic matcha powder, like proper rich matcha powder.
Love matcha.
And then a little bit of, what was it? I think it's sesame oil.
Oh, nice.
Just like something that kind of, because there's a bit of resistance when you start adding too much. So yes, and then normally a banana as well. But because bananas used to make me, if anything, surprisingly, anything that I was like after the gym would go straight through me. It was a banana. Don't know why, but like I acclimatized to that. But I think the time, like thinking about now you've mentioned it, because I did have a creatine cycle this year when I was trying to get back into the gym, and like I was rushing myself. I was like, let's just put the weight on. I was bashing creatine, force feeding and all that. But I was dry scooping in the mornings, and that's when I was having a little bit of stomach issues.
Should be having it with, like, you want to make sure you're getting enough fluids with it. But yeah, I think if I haven't had enough fluids with it either, then I'll definitely get some stomach problems. But this is another good question. Do you think that it like changes anything for you?
Creatine in general?
Yeah, just like you taking it. Do you feel a difference?
I did last year. This year, no. But this year has been, a rocky one for me at the gym anyway, just because I'm still struggling with getting back into the swing of things post lockdown. It's really, that's like a discipline, more of a mental issue. But
of course.
Physically, like last year, there was that, I think, just before we went into that, like that tier system, I think it was.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
I was like pushing my hardest weight yet, and I was had my favorite routine, and I was eating the best I was eating, and that's when I could notice differences with the creatine. It was that, like, if you can't, I think with anything, and everyone knows this at this point, it's an additive. You don't supplement it in replacement of something else. You can't just pop a creatine tablet in the morning and you're like,
you're good to go.
It's not that deep, but like figuring out, so like supplements wise, back then I was on creatine and multivitamin, like just a standard multivitamin that you can get.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, that was good. That was probably a good stint. And yeah, that extra rep vision, I think the main thing, I don't know if it was ever creatine, but like when I did the new workout, normally you change it up and do a different sort of resistance and you get muscle ache the next day.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, I really had a good stage of no muscle ache.
Your recovery was on point then.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then coming back to the gym, my recovery's been horrendous. So I've been looking into, like, because I know stuff like frozen forest fruits is good for inflammation. I'm on like turmeric supplements and everything, but back then I was like completely unassisted and had no problems with it.
Oh, that's decent, man. That's decent. Like supplements do definitely make a difference if you're taking the right ones.
Yeah, that's the main thing, I think.
Big one going into the winter months, if you don't already take it, vitamin D.
Well, that just comes, so I'm back on just like a multivitamin now. I'm decent. Still, do you know when we used to like Boots lunches every day?
Oh man,
I still have the Boots points. So like I haven't paid for Centrum at all this year.
Mate, that is great. Mate, that's like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I have got like
sorry for clearing my throat.
I've got like £70 in Boots points that I just spend on.
Mate, save that for Christmas. Like, get everyone's Christmas. That's literally what I used to do. Like when we were going to the Boots lunches, I'd get Boots lunches every day, accrue like, I don't know, 50. I don't know how much points I would get a day.
Yeah.
But I would, no word of a lie, everyone's Christmas presents would either come through Cotswold on my nice little staff discount or Boots. And then I was saving so much money. But
literally my parents were getting anything and everything as long as it was related to walking.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was just like, all right, Dad, you're getting an out. Like he's got like probably like 2 or 3 caps now.
Nice.
I got him Actually Christian plugged me. Christian found a Arc'teryx jacket in a charity shop.
No way.
For 20 quid.
No way.
And he was like, he messaged me, he was like, are you an XL? I was like, I'm not, but my dad is. I'll cash you out on that right now.
Big up Christian.
Yeah, so my dad's he's got a £300 jacket for 20 quid, and now he's looking dapper in the mountains when he's up there with me.
Mate, that is class. Class from Christian as well. Did he just message you out the blue?
Yeah, well, this wasn't too long after or it might have been whilst I was still at Cotswolds, or it might have been when I just left.
Mate, he plugged you. Christian,
but yeah, sound lad. And I heard he's back at the Biggleswade store now.
Yeah, no, I saw him. I didn't say hello because I was in the car, but he's doing his run club there. It's quality. Good on him. Like, it's nice to see that it clearly does make him quite happy there. Like, that's his shop, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, apparently it's like the best team. So they
Really?
in terms of like efficiency, they're doing pretty well now.
Yeah, well, I guess they've had a lot of time to
It's been all
find
over,
people that are, you know, actually feel like that could be the right store for them and be the kind of career for them. Like,
yeah, and I mean that store had some teething issues, but I mean, fucking so much fun. Majority of the time, I was like, it's just jammy. It just felt jammy.
I had some. It was cushy at some points, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but I loved it. There's just some characters there as well.
That's the thing. So like when we first were sitting around that table at the mill, and I was like, I had no idea. Like Christian glued to me off the rip. Like he was like,
I think you have this effect on people.
Well, it's because we both went to Scouts, and he clocked that I was like, Scout energy. He was like, you can smell another Scout from a mile off. But
taste the Scouts on you.
You've been prepared.
You've been sworn in.
Yeah. But I think we really got chatting on that weird hike we did with Rab. I remember we had that mad chat. Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, we were walking for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, weren't we?
Yeah. Like so obviously, for a bit of context, we started working at Cotswolds a month before the store had even opened. And so for a month we were just doing training courses.
Went up to Nottingham, didn't we?
Went up to Nottingham. That was a trip. We went into London. London was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we worked in London.
Worked in London for a bit, and then Rab took us out on a local hike. I remember the weather was weird. It was like kind of like wet, and we were testing out the
vaporizer and the soft shell. No, it wasn't hard shell on the outside. It was the one.
It's not the synthetic down jacket.
It was the synthetic.
The Nimbus or something like that.
Yes, the Nimbus.
Because you picked one up. Who picked one up? Someone.
So I got given the vaporizer.
Yeah, you fucking.
I sold it on eBay. I didn't realize how good it was.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm just a money
hustler.
Whore. Yeah. But yeah, mate, those days, that was brilliant. That's kind of like what made me get into what I got into though, because I was just thinking, this is like close to what I want to do, working with people. I got to run the run club there. I was like getting to, mentor people to an extent. And I think that's what led me to probably want to go into fitness, even though I didn't go there straight away. It was like, that showed me that I want to be around people.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lot as well. It helped me to come out of my shell in my own way.
I mean, that was a big question I was going to ask actually, because before retail in general, luckily I had a couple years experience before Cotswolds, but before retail, like my social skills, especially when talking to strangers, was next to non-existent. Never had, I don't think I ever had particularly any trouble, but I just couldn't talk. Like I just didn't really know what to say, and yeah, you being quite shy, I definitely noticed kind of a development at Cotswolds. I mean, it took me a while. There was like a period where I thought I was hot shit in that place. And Dave, he pushed me. He was like, he was hyping me up. It's because of that. Do you remember when I did the first, I think it might have been the only 4-figure customer order, not customer order, like actual walk-in customer transaction.
Yeah, I think so.
And Dave like lost his shit when I did it. He was
boy.
We've hit target. We're over target by 20%, guys. But being able to like, what I loved was the customers and being able to talk to kind of like these avid people who were like,
there was a lot of like, because people were coming in there and they genuinely wanted advice, which was really nice. Like they genuinely, they were like, I've come in here because I need this. I'm trusting you to just tell me the right thing to do, which I loved, but then I found a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't totally in the game of it. I did like it. I did like being there. And I did love the stuff that I was doing, but with like the more outdoorsy type stuff, I was I blagged it a little bit.
You got to blag
That's
it.
why
Blag your way.
if it was the running thing, it'd be all right because I'm all over that. But if it was the outdoor stuff, I'd do it. But if you were around, I'd make sure I tag
Or
you in.
it's vice versa. On the weekends, it was like if we were both free and someone came up needing running shoes, it was like, oh, talk to my man Sam. If we were both free and someone wanted hiking boots, it was talk to your
It was
man
good
Matt.
teamwork there, wasn't it?
Teamwork made the dream work. Yeah, there was definitely times when the team felt pretty on it, especially at the weekends when it got busy. But yeah, I mean, at least for you to make that jump, because now you're a personal coach, trainer. What else would you define yourself as?
So I'd like to call myself a coach because of the amount of work I put into each person.
Yeah.
If I was just people turn up for the hour and they train with me and then they fuck off and they do their own thing, then I'd call myself a personal trainer. But I wouldn't want to do that because
you're more hands on.
Yeah, man. I want to get people to where they want to be, and being that sort of kind of turn it on with them, turn it off with them. Like they could just have from that point onwards a crap week. But if they know they're going to be there and check in on you, and I do a lot of work just literally on my phone, just messaging my clients, just like, hey, how's your day going? Like, is it going okay? Because there's some people I have to be a bit more hands-on with. And the amount of care as well that I do care about my clients, I would hate to call myself a personal trainer. I do personal training, but I'm not a personal trainer. I'm a coach.
Yeah, you've got more.
Yeah, because
you some of the stuff I've seen recently from you can borderline see yourself as a motivational speaker. Like some of the stuff I'm seeing on Instagram is really like, this.
I think because a big thing is mindset. Like, people need to be molded, and a lot of people don't realize they have it in them. And sometimes something I posted the other day, which like is something that does really resonate with me, is just do the work. Like for me, it's like if I want to grow my business, if I want to be more successful, I'm not going to get there if I just scroll through TikTok. I need to do the work. Like, and it's same with my clients. You ain't going to get to where you want to be without doing the work. I can help you as much as I can, but I can't do it for you. You've got to do the work. So yeah, the mindset side of things and the motivation side of things is something that I want to be quite hot on, because I think that if your head's in it, then you ain't got no problem, because you can turn up to training, you can do what you need to do, you can be disciplined with yourself in the other 23 hours of the day that you're not training. If your head's in the game, it's all about mindset. So that's why I do post a lot about that at the moment, because I feel like that is quite valuable to people,
especially post lockdown.
Oh mate, 100%.
I mean, just from a personal situation, like I've definitely found it a lot harder to stay on top of things.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you're not alone there, where people were used to having more time on their hands, and now that they've gone back into I found this with so many clients. Now that you've gone back into a routine where you've probably got maybe the same amount of stuff as before, but it just feels like you can't cope with it as well, because you're used to having so much time on your hands. And we got really comfortable. I got really comfortable in lockdown. Like, I loved it, but I hated it at the same time.
I mean, over lockdown, like it was the first time I was doing like cardio and like weight training every day, back to back.
I loved watching people in lockdown. Like,
it was great. Everyone
making the most of their time
exactly.
and what they had. It was honestly, I was thinking about it on the way up in the car because I knew we'd talk about it, but it was so awesome to see people in their back garden just like doing their thing, and like people just trying to be positive. I know that you don't want to force positivity, but there was a lot of people out there just trying to do the best that they could with what they've got.
Yeah, making the most of what you've got was I remember one of the key things that really, like the first week of lockdown, me and Barney, we just got the bikes out and we started cycling.
Yeah.
And like the biggest thing, it was like the cardio of cycling and stuff, that was great. But the main thing that I took away from it was like you get out of town and you get into the middle of the woods or in the middle of the fields. put your bike down, sit down for a minute, and just listen. And it was just dead silent
Yeah, I love that.
because there were no planes,
Mate.
no one was driving.
Literally,
it was fucking like serene.
I thought it was so cool. Like there was things like I found lockdown so interesting for so many things, and this was like one of the. It's completely unrelated to like fitness around here, but like in part of where the Himalayas are, so it must be the Middle East, isn't it?
No, so it's probably technically the Far East, so Tibet,
right?
Pakistan,
Asia,
that area.
Yeah. So there's normally you can't because of the amount of pollution, you can't see the mountains from a certain point. You can never see them.
Yeah.
And then because of no transport, no planes, no this sort of stuff, because I think that's where all the planes they go on that route, and you could see them perfectly, and you're thinking, wow, they can normally never see this, but they had this beautiful view just from the fact that there was no pollution at that point. And I loved it. I loved the little things like that. But then I was thinking, you know, on the downside of that, there's a lot of people suffering from the mental health side of COVID, the actual COVID itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just found it a really interesting time, and I wouldn't want to have it again. But
no.
I think I learned so much in that lockdown, man.
I mean, it was like a historical event, and I'm still trying to not touch on lockdown too much in general, because I think everyone's fed up of hearing about it for a while. But like, you know, especially that early days, like kind of the motivation of hearing, like you were saying about the Himalayas, also like Venice, where like the water just cleared up in Venice.
You could see the fish.
Yeah, and like one of the big things I saw for the first time, like a live badger. Me and my cousin went cycling one morning. We were cycling down the trail out towards you can go, I don't know the name of the road, but it's called, there's this byway open to all traffic that's like just a dead straight line.
Yeah.
And we bomb it as hard as we can, like how fast we can get and how far out away from town we can get. And we kind of like went through these trees, and then this badger like came out in front of us and across from front. It's the first time I'd ever seen like a badger, especially in the day.
It's little things like that. Like I feel like as you said, like the wild animals, they got more comfortable like not seeing humans, and they're like adventuring out more.
Yeah, and just in general, it felt like we finally, like the natural world had a chance to have a breather.
Oh mate, yeah, I love that, and I love just like because when lockdown hit, the weather got absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
and I was out there just walking every day.
Exactly.
And I was loving being out there.
Your government mandated hour of exercise.
Oh, mate, I loved it.
Thanks, Boris. That was great.
I was never out for 1 hour. It was always an hour and a half. So I was always pushing it, being cheeky.
You say, I'm going to write that down, actually. All right. Yeah, I've just got... Bring him in, guys. We've got him. No, but yeah, I mean, I was... every morning cycle ride, every evening cycle ride. I had
so you were out for more than an hour as well.
Oh, of course, mate. I mean, I was don't tell anyone, but I was out for an hour with someone from a different household.
No.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we needed it back then.
Sick.
My dad was still suffering with cancer back then. So one of the things is we needed a support network. So we had,
of course,
my grandparents who just lived down the road. We were all in one support bubble because my cousin was delivering us meals because we couldn't go to the shops. We were all shielding. Yeah. So Barney, and then just like me and Barney were like, well, if you're coming and literally giving us food, like what's the harm in us going out cycling togetger? It was like, you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of that though, like thinking,
I mean, a lot of it was common
logic?
sense, you know, common sense back then. So
I get what you mean.
I don't think anyone was going to shoot us down because we were cycling together.
No.
And especially considering we're cycling outdoors. But anyway, let's get away from
goodbye.
Let's get away from lockdown and all that.
Where do you want to go?
We could even, well, I wanted to touch a little bit on just general Cotswolds, what we got up to and stuff like that. But obviously, I think the main takeaway is I think it's just seeing your progression in the last few years. I've been almost, I wouldn't say envious is the word, but just, I guess, proud, but also like fair play. Like, I
appreciate that, man.
Well, because like you said, like when I first met you, you were I mean, you were hanging like a truck that first day.
Oh mate, I was so hungover. I was done in.
I thought, like, I didn't realize until
I
after.
remember now. That's probably why I was so quiet.
Yeah, exactly. And because you told me a few days later, you were like, mate, that first day I was dying. And
I remember now.
And like, even like, I remember the first couple of weeks of you were just struggling with like customer interactions, and even everyone was at that point, apart from Dave, you know.
Yeah,
we were all like
it was just like, I didn't want to do bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to, I never want to be bad at something, and I think I've cared about every job that I've been in. I've wanted to do well at it.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I just,
you know,
although that was probably the best training I've ever had for a job before, like, but it still wasn't enough for how much I needed to know. And it was hard, especially when I must have been 18 then. I just felt so young for an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like I should have felt like an adult, and I didn't. I felt like I was 16 still. Whereas now I feel like I'm 25 and I'm only 22. You know, like I feel a lot older than I should be now. But yeah, I think I did love Cotswold. It taught me so much though. Like, did you feel like you developed in Cotswold?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I mean, I've developed a lot with the people around me. Like, I mean, I will say it now, I wouldn't have started the gym if it wasn't for you. Like, there's no way. There's no way. I was never really... I started obviously because I got into rock climbing. I joined a canoe club for a little bit. And that was like, oh, that's my fitness. But then when I was rock climbing, I was like, oh, I kind of want to be like better at rock climbing.
Yeah.
And I think I remember coming to you and you actually wrote me like a guide.
Did I?
Yeah. And I probably, if I tried hard enough, I could probably find it somewhere in this desk.
It's probably just every type of lat exercise I could think of.
Well, the thing, it wasn't actually, it was because it was clean slate. The key thing I always remembered was you were telling me about the chest exercises, and I'm still like at my gym one of the only people who does like incline, decline, and flat, because you were like, do all three, like back to back, and progressive overload, and that stuck with me for ages, and that was something I was doing for so long.
You got pretty strong at that, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, then obviously we had that day when you came to the gym with me.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was struggling on like 14s on each arm.
Yeah.
And you got me to 18s on each arm, but you got me to like do at least a set of, I think it was 5 reps of 24 on each arm.
Yeah, man.
For the first time. And I mean, now
that's the effect of training someone, though, isn't it? Like, you get that. You
get the motivational push, but also solo, I never really pushed it because I didn't really know what I could do. And yeah, I think one of the things that really caught me off guard was like just having a little bit of a tweak of the form and having someone there with their hands under your elbows if you fuck up. Yeah,
it's sort of like it's like you kind of hit fuck it. You're kind of like, right, what's the word? Maybe not fuck it, but you kind of hit like, you think your mindset shifts. Like, what's the worst that can happen?
You test your capabilities.
Worst that can happen, Sam's going to take these weights off me. I'm going to be fine. And when you're on your own and your arms are shaking, you're thinking, oh my God. But really, you know, like them, what's the worst that can happen?
And that made me realize like no one's gonna stare at you if you throw your weights down.
No, man, people are gonna think, all right, maybe he went too heavy, but at least he's trying, you know?
Exactly.
I love seeing that. I love seeing someone go for it. Maybe not if it's like stupidly out of their depth, because you can tell.
Yeah.
But when you see someone giving it their best in the gym,
especially when you're on like, you've been stagnating on like a set. Like, I mean, I was on 18s religiously for probably 2 months before you came and we're like, right, let's fucking. I remember you were like, we'll get you above 20 today, and I was like, nah, we're not gonna do that. And then we were doing 24s, and I mean, my PB, I think at the moment, I eventually switched to actual full-on bench press as well.
Mate, nice.
Which was fun. And now I probably do bench press more than, and I don't know if that's causing me more. I kind of want to go back to just doing chest press.
Yeah, bench press, great strength-based exercise for your upper body. If you wanted to focus on really building up your chest, stick with the dumbbells, because you can activate those muscles in your chest more. Whereas a bench press, the load is distributed differently. It's not just on your chest. You're going to get more shoulders in there as well. But if you want to get super strong, probably go on the bench press. If you want to, really work on these individual parts of your chest, then go for the dumbbells.
Yeah, I mean, I try to do both at this point.
Yeah, man. There's no reason why you can't. What I'd say to you now is like, make sure you're working the muscle when it's stretched and when it's shortened. So bench press, great one for the shortened. Then you want to have some sort of like fly variation in there as well.
Well, my
golden.
My I mean, in like recently, my main compounds off the rip. If it's a chest day, straight onto the bench, and just I've been doing. So one of the big things I've been doing is time under tension exercises.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
so basically, instead of just doing
ripping some reps.
Yeah, instead of just ripping reps, I've been halving my reps but taking double the time to do them.
I like it, mate.
Which has been
you feel that so much more than
so much more. I mean, it's a bit humbling as well, like for sure.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden your ego's taking a hit because you're like, oh fuck, like I'm only on rep 4, but it's because you're taking like 10 seconds per rep,
and you're spending longer in the position where the exercise is hardest and when you're generating the most tension through your chest. So like, for example, the bottom of a bench press, that's your hardest bit. But if you've gone from just ripping a rep and kind of bouncing out of that hard point, but then you've gone through time under tension where you might spend 1 or 2 more seconds in that bottom position where it's hard, that muscle's getting so much more work. It's gonna like damage that a little bit more. So you're gonna get like more results. So if you want to build muscle, time under tension is such a good way to go.
Yeah.
And still try and like progressively overload that. But mate, that's good. I like it, mate.
Yeah.
So do you know when you're thinking about kind of getting back into the gym, or are you just taking it?
Well, I'm grinding kind of as like, it's never really I wouldn't say I've stopped, but I'm like down to 1 day a week.
No, that's fine, mate. Build
and then
it back
you
up,
just
man.
grind. Yeah, I mean, that's it really. And that's because I remember what humbled me was when as soon as gyms went back open, I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like I did a 2-week load of creatine and then just went straight back to 5 days a week. And it absolutely killed me.
Yeah,
it was stupid. And then I had like a month off and was like, right, reattach it. And then since then I've been bouncing between like a day a week, 2 days a week. Life things happen that brings you back down to a day a week. But yeah, like now even within the last couple of weeks, I've had more of like the next push needs to start, where I need to kind of like, let's go get a bit more consistent with the gym, get a bit more consistent with the diet.
I think just literally if you have a look at all the things maybe that you want to lock in, like they're all habits, aren't they? At the end of the day, like going to the gym is a habit, your diet is habit related. If you just think about all the habits that you want and just gradually start edging them back in, you could be like, right, I'm still going to stick to the gym once a week, but I'm going to start, bring an element of my diet that I want back into the mix. You might be like, right, I'm going to go back onto my protein shakes. Then the next week, once that's like a bit more automatic, you can add something else. Be like, right, I'm going to go 2 days to the gym this week, and just build it up like that. So it's just not too overwhelming for yourself. That might be a good way to start, because so many times I've tried to, when I was a less experienced coach, try and get people back into the mix. Well, get people into the mix by giving them everything they need straight away. And it can be really overwhelming for some people. And I find that slow and steady approach of just building things up nice and slowly gets people better results. It gives people a bit more sustainability as well. So maybe that might work. That might work for you. Just having a little look at everything that you want and just start bringing it back super slow, potentially.
Yeah, my goal is really at the gym, apart from obviously improving my skills in hiking, climbing, stuff like that. But like at the moment, my personal one, I want to get my weight up just naturally. So I want to get up.
You've always been super lean, though.
Exactly. You? So I mean, when I first started the gym, I was 58 kilos.
Wow.
Really lean.
And you're quite tall as well, aren't you?
Yeah, and now I'm 72 kilos.
Wow, mate, that's huge.
which is over like 2 or 3 years now.
But mate, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Do you feel better for it now?
I did at my prime. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, I haven't actually. I've deliberately been avoiding the scales because annoyingly, when I don't train, the weight just disappears. So I'm probably below 72 now.
Yeah.
But my goal was and probably will have to be pushed to a later deadline. I want to get to 80 kilos.
Oh mate, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard.
like especially these last couple. Like even just getting to 75.
Yeah.
Because the gap between 70 and 72 for like natural, just like non creatine weight. This is like, because with creatine, I think I got up to like 76, but because it's, you know, water retention, I didn't quite
you kind of
take
like,
it with a pinch of salt. It's
yeah.
like, it's not really how much I weigh, is it?
It's not making you feel like you're really at 76.
Exactly.
No, I get you completely, mate. Mate, bulking's so hard. Like people are,
Horrible.
you know, losing. People always say, "Oh, losing weight's hard." No, try gaining weight, like good weight, the weight that you want, that you want, muscle. Oh man, it takes its time, and then getting to the point where you're at the end of the day, and if you're tracking your food, you're thinking, "Oh my god, I've got 500 calories to get in," and you're full. You're thinking, "How the hell am I going to do this?" It's so hard.
That's why I've never counted.
Have you never?
No, I'm just too scared because I do like a rough count. So I'm like, right, let's try because, let's try, like, you know, 1,000 calories over lunch, 1,000 calories over dinner.
Yeah.
Another
You can have a
1,000
like rough idea. You've had like a rough
idea.
idea.
Yeah, but it's
of how
never
much you're
been
eating.
like, because I know you can. I've never had like the app open, set it up like right. It's almost midnight and I've got to eat 3 tuna sandwiches or I'm gonna.
Yeah, well, I think it's got its pros and cons. It's one of those things that it keeps you accountable. So if you can visibly see, and if you're tracking like as best you can visibly see, it gives you like that imagery of right that I need to do that to get my goal. I need to get that much to get my goal, and I liked it because like one of the biggest things for me is getting enough protein in. And if you can have a little look at like, it gives you a little pie chart on MyFitnessPal and you can see what your macros are. So your fats, carbs and protein. And then you can just see how many grams you've got. Find it quite useful. Like, so yeah, I'd say if you feel like it could have a negative effect on you, like it's going to like put pressure on you or things like that, then don't bother. Like for yourself, like you just want to get in the habit of eating, don't you? Because you find it really hard to put on weight, and maybe that visibility on days where you can't eat much more, and you're like, oh god, I've got 500 to go. That might not be like the best thing. It's like it can be a bit of a demotivator. Do you know what I mean? As much as it can be a motivator, sometimes it can also knock you back. Like I have a lot of clients that. Because it doesn't work for everyone, that are trying to lose weight and then they go over their calories and then they're like, it demotivates them to visibly see that they've technically failed. So it's something that I now that I'm a bit more of an educated coach, I might get someone to calorie count to educate themselves on what's got a lot of calories in, what hasn't got a lot of calories in, what's a good source of protein. These are things that calorie counting teaches you, but you don't need to live your life by doing it. So maybe you could use it for like a little bit of an educational purpose to be, I didn't realize that would fit into my diet really well. That would be good. Yeah. So yeah, nutrition is not really my favorite thing anyway.
It's a bit of it's probably basically one of the most important parts, but it's also one of those ones where you really need to be an expert to get it bang on.
Yeah, and I'd love to know more about nutrition, but to be honest, I kind of find it boring, you know? Yeah. There's
it goes into like, it's almost biology, isn't it, at that point?
Yeah, and like everyone knows what works for them. Like, you know what you like, you know what works for you, and funny enough, I'll talk about this now. I don't even like fruit or vegetables. I hate them. I really hate them. And like sometimes I feel like a bit of a fraud telling people.
You've heard
to
it
eat
here
healthy.
first, guys.
Mate, I am a fraud. But yeah,
just a healthy man over here.
But like, I guess I'm in good shape. I don't really eat. I do eat when I need to. I don't just like not have any. But
yeah, I mean, you're not like in a sense that like you still have like food that has vegetables in, but you're not one that's going to be like, oh mate, a fucking salad.
Yeah.
Get that down.
Yeah.
Fruit salad for lunch. Hang on.
No, I would not go out my way to choose that, but I still eat healthier. And the main thing is eating things in moderation as well. Like I don't just binge eat. Otherwise I would be the size of a house. But
yeah.
Because I like crisps, I like chocolate. I have them every day. But,
Classic. Yeah, I mean, I have a bit of a sweet tooth myself. I say a bit. I have a huge sweet tooth, and that's probably causes more problems for me than I want it to. Sugar is a bit of a vice.
What? So sugar's yours. Mine's crisps.
I luckily don't like crisps that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh mate, it's one of those things. Like you get a 6-pack in of Walkers.
Yeah.
I could eat the whole thing.
Nice.
Like easily, and I'd have room for more. 100%.
Well, it makes me think of an interesting question, and this is something that I've experienced and never really known I've experienced before. But body dysmorphia because of gym.
Oh man, yeah. I've had this is a huge thing.
And I don't think it's spoken about like enough unless it's among like proper gym heads. Like,
yeah, man.
I don't really ever see people speak about it unless it's like serious, like.
Mate, I've dealt with, I've had a few people that have had it. I've even had like close friends that have had it. Like when I was like 16, 17, this is the first time I saw it, and I didn't think anything of it. Like one of my friends, he was super lean. And at this age of 16, 17, he looked fantastic. He had like an 8-pack and he was built, and he probably had like, I don't know, 5% body fat. And this guy, he was quite small, but he was in crazy shape. And I was thinking, at the time, I was comparing myself to him. I was thinking, how the hell am I going to get on this guy's level? And he would just look in the mirror and he'd just be like, what's, I feel rubbish. I feel fat. I don't think I look good. And he looked amazing. He looked incredible. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. And then when I kind of got into the fitness industry, there'd be a lot of people that they'd take before and after photos. I'd be like, look at your results. They look crazy. Like you can see a difference here, and like I can see a visible difference. The waistline is smaller, and they'd be like, I look exactly the same. And it wouldn't be like them being like, no, I'm like fishing for compliments and stuff like that. They'd genuinely be like, I can't see a difference. Like I don't feel any different. I'm like, can you see the numbers here? You've lost 2 inches off your waist. And they'd be like, no, well, I can see that, but I don't feel any different. I feel big. I feel like, and it's like, it's hard with these disorders because you need to be really careful that you don't say the wrong things. Do you see like posts on Instagram, like people like with eating disorders, you can't, there's certain things you just don't say.
I mean, because even when because I feel like this version of body dysmorphia is sprung from the gym environment, but
social media, man.
Like, well, I won't even say it's just kind of people just not. Like I've just had it, like especially over lockdown, where like some days I just look at like I'm the exact same as I looked yesterday, but one day I'm like, mate, I'm fucking gorgeous. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm the hottest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Good.
I can't believe it. But then like a couple of days later, I'm the exact same person, exact same body, and I'll be like, fucking hell, I've been to the gym for 2 years and I still look like this. This is terrible. I'm just starting to get a little bit like,
yeah, no, of course.
And I think because I think that's in a different realm to people who seriously struggle with like, because you do have people, and now I can empathize with the people who are like, you know, I mean, girls in particular, unfortunately, are plagued with the issue of just not ever liking the body they're in. Yeah. And because I've never had this bout of dysmorphia affect what I've eaten, apart from it inspiring me to eat more, which is good.
Yeah, which is of course.
You know, like
it's not like serious, not like bordering on seriously unhealthy.
Yeah,
habits forming. But yeah, it's kind of scary when you think that it does lead to those sort of things, like someone thinking that they look like, I don't know, fatter than they are and needing them to starve themselves. Like, that's sad, man. That's proper sad. And, you know, I think, I don't know whether this is the right thing to say, but kind of like, I think people with that, they need a bit more self-love, you know? They
entirely.
They need to like, I don't know, maybe that might change their perception of what they see in the mirror. Like, even if they do see someone like that's bigger than themselves, they need to know that they are valued and they're enough as they are. They don't need to change, you know, they don't need to change the way they look to be appreciated more, like they're valued.
No,
and
exactly.
You know, but I know that's
easy to say.
yeah, it's
but
easy to
hard
say. You can't. I can say that to someone that's got body dysmorphia. You need to love yourself more, and they'll be like, "Fuck off." I feel this way because
Like,
I feel
shut
this
the
way.
fuck up.
Yeah, we're like, you know, mate, scary. And like, yeah, I've been, you know, people that don't know that they've got eating disorders that clearly do have eating disorders, and that would probably the biggest challenge so far with working with people that have had that, and like trying not to tiptoe around it, but just to say the right things and
Address
to give
it
the
in the
right
healthiest way
coaching.
possible. Yeah.
Oh man, that's probably the hardest bit.
Well, that's the thing, because everyone's dealing with a different story. They're
mate.
all waiting for that trigger word that sends them the wrong way. And I completely get people who go through stuff like that, because you can't follow a guide on how to talk to and help someone like that, because every person's different. And you know, like it can be from anyone, from people being like their worst critic. That's all sometimes that's all it is. But other times it is like, you know, people overthinking how people think, people with the wave of social media, the wave of the media being the way it is. It's, you know, there's a lot of pretty people online. Yeah. And some people, like in a healthy headspace, can just see that as motivation, or they can just disregard it as, you know, that's not what I'm looking to achieve. That's not
useful to me.
Exactly. But there are people who really cannot like take the hit. You know, there's people, you know, doctoring pictures. I have close friends who I'm like, you know, there's girls in my life that I mean, look incredible, and I mean men as well, but unfortunately girls in particular got plagued by this, where it's like, you don't need to doctor your pictures. You know, you don't. And it's kind of that thing where it's like, you can't dismiss it and be like, don't doctor your pictures, because that's disarming them. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I wish they were in a headspace where they didn't feel like they needed to.
Yeah. And, you know, I love talking about mental health, because I genuinely want to help as many people as I can to better their mental health. But I don't think I'll ever truly understand it.
I mean, it's even as someone suffering myself, and I think everyone suffers in some capacity. I think, like, you know, there's a statistic that like 1 in 4 people, I think it's 4 in 4, to be honest, everyone, we've all got the same complex brain. There is something in your head that's probably like something that you could address, you know? And so I think everyone, but then in that case, it's just because it's different for every single person. It's not like it is, you know, there's always the comparison to, like, you know, chopping a leg off. It's not the same, you know, because there's only one way a leg can come off, but there's multiple ways you can be suffering from anxiety, depression, you know, personality disorders, eating disorders.
And it's hard, because the way my brain works is I always want to find a solution to the problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's
why you're precise.
Yeah. And in that sense, and I, you know, like, I want to be able to help people then. And that's probably the biggest frustration for me, because there's, as you said, there's so many ways you can help someone, and I want to know the right way. But I think the right way is just by trying to be positive and being there for someone.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is be present for someone who needs it, and I think that's the most important part of it. And I also just initially just wanted to touch on, even just as a gym, as a coach, because that's your level above. Like when you were saying how you were a trainer, you are a trainer on paper, but you see yourself more as a coach, because you are there in more of a capacity than like, you're not someone who like, oh yeah, mate, I want to do this, and then you show them how they do it, and then it's like, all right, have a good one. It is like,
man. I like to take people through their journey. I want to be there. I want to be there for
the
people.
Cotswolds teach you that customer journey.
I reckon it's probably instilled in me from there. But yeah, the customer journey. But that's kind of like what I do. That's, if I could summarize what I do, is I help people get from A to B, and I'm there for them there.
Yeah. Help people achieve goals, which is
Yeah,
probably one of the more gratifying things you could
mate.
do.
And like, it's nice talking about it in that way, because I always have to remind myself that that's what I do, because it's very easy to slip into, especially as like now I'm doing my own thing, slip into the business owner mindset of I've got to earn money, and then I need to realize I'm in here like, the money doesn't matter, like the experiences that I can create off the back of that matter, like helping someone achieve something that they want to achieve and that sort of thing. And sometimes I can get conflicted with, I need to earn more money, I need to do more, but in reality that means I need to help more people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I need to think of it more like that sometimes, I think. But as I'm quite early on into doing my own thing, it's hard not to think about money when, if I don't work, I don't earn money. But yeah, mate, where do we go now?
I mean, I was thinking, like, there's a tricky mindset for you to be in terms of like monetizing a passion, you know?
Yeah, and that's like, it's dangerous, I think, because there's been points where I've really fell out of love with fitness. You know, there's times where I was working in the old gym where I didn't train myself. And it's like, oh, you're in a gym for up to 90 hours a week, it was at the time. You're in a gym for 90 hours a week and you haven't trained this week. You're a fraud. And that plays on your mind, and you start thinking, oh, I'm really starting to go off fitness. But, you know, that was just being overworked there. But now, like, I've got a bit more of a balance. I know that fitness is my life and it will always be my life. But as you said about monetizing a passion, you want to be careful, because you don't want it to take over while you're doing something. And there's been points where I've had to kind of like reel myself in, be like, you're doing this for the reason you left your old job, because you love helping people and you love fitness. And it's not just about making quick dollar. It's about what you bring to people. And I love it. I follow so many pages on Instagram that kind of, they help coaches be better coaches. And one thing was like, someone might come to you for your personal training session because it's their 1 free hour they have in the week to work on themselves. It's like, so powerful, man. Like, as a coach, I've got so much power to build people up and to give people good experiences and to like mold people and to change people. And oh, mate, I love thinking about my job now.
Yeah. It's because it's something you've done off your own back, I guess.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be a coach coming out of school. I never ever thought about it. I thought I was going to be an accountant.
Well, yeah, because you stopped at Cotswolds and you moved on to, were you an estate agent for a bit? Was that it?
It was working in finance, but I did want to be an estate agent because I thought I'd be good at sales. But then I just ended up going into finance, and it was the most boring job in the world.
Yeah, I bet.
It was horrible. I literally was in this grey office, and I just felt, and that's when my mental health was at its worst. And I just knew that I wasn't meant to be cooped up. And I don't think anyone's meant to be cooped up. I feel like we're social beings as humans. Like, we should all be out there socializing, and it's good for us. It's healthy for us. So being stuck in an office definitely wasn't the place for me.
Yeah.
You've worked in an office, haven't you?
Well, yeah. So I worked with my dad in an office environment, and
how did you find it?
It's tough. I've always been
wait, that must have been worse for you because you're such an outdoorsy person.
Well, that's the thing. Well, obviously I've been instilled in my brain that it's like, yeah, I need to be out and moving. I worked at a pet shop where like everything was up and go all the time.
I remember this.
Like, yeah. And then obviously Cotswolds, I was racking up like 20,000 steps a day, just getting around, doing stuff. And then all of a sudden I was sat behind my desk.
Oh, but, it's horrible, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, at the time it was obviously because it was around, Cotswolds was getting hard for me anyway. There was some managerial choices that happened, and I was struggling in that space. But at the same time, my dad got diagnosed. And the first thing is, dad being the owner of a business, I was like, right,
You're going to help him.
Yeah, so I quit
I remember you saying this,
and
actually.
started working for my dad and helped him out where I could.
Legend.
And I mean, I couldn't do much anyway because he's like, they're all these old guys who know exactly what they're doing, and the environment was strange. Like, I really, like, it was good for the first like 6 months, but beyond that, and luckily COVID kind of nipped it in the bum for me, and luckily I had some time away from it, or I don't know what I would have done, because it was really at one point being like, God, like, I can't be in this space for that long, like even under the circumstances.
Yeah, it's it just felt a bit like soul destroying for me. Like, I'd, especially in the winter months.
Oh God,
like, how horrible
waking
is
up
it?
in the dark.
You wake up in the dark, you're in a dark grey office, and then you're leaving work and it's already dark, and you're like, I don't know, it you just feel tired at that point. You just feel tired all the time, don't you? Because you're not energizing yourself unless you're going to the gym after work. You're just kind of, you're not even like moving in the day. You're like sat down for like about 8 hours, isn't it? Just staring at a computer. The headaches, the achy hips.
I had the worst backache.
Oh,
because I started roughly the same time I started working in office. Is when I also started like I picked up front squats and deadlifts in like a more serious, like starting to stack the weight. And just that combination to then, like, you know, every night hammering my lower back, my hamstrings and all that, and then sitting in a desk chair the next day. And I wasn't even in like a good desk chair. Like, my dad's place is old school, you know. It's not like, it's nothing like what I'm in now. It's like, yeah, your classic, like, might as well be in a school chair, for example.
Yeah.
But now, like you were saying, like, I remember probably one of my favorite memories of Cotswolds, because we finished at 8:30 in the summer. That was always like the prime sunset time.
Oh, mate, it was gorgeous, wasn't it?
So you'd come out the store and be closing up and the sun would be setting. And my drive down the A1, it was like
nice drive.
That vista.
Yeah, you got the sunset behind the windmills.
Exactly, you know, as well.
Gorgeous.
And I had the convertible at the time. And honestly,
what a car!
I felt like hot shit. I was on cloud 9 for like.
And it was a nice life, wasn't it? Like, it was quite casual. You'd go to quite a casual job, get paid, like, the wage at the time was decent. I thought, I mean, for like retail.
In aspect of in retail, and in the aspect of like
the work to pay ratio.
Yeah, like, we don't, like, the only thing is, I think the thing that was bad was the knowledge to pay ratio. Like, in terms of like
how much you had to know.
Yeah, you had to know so much stuff there. Where even me, you know, I would like, and even Christian and like the people who are really, like, I think the only person who was really more dialed in as that was, I don't know if you ever met Mark, when Mark was working there for a bit.
No, I never met Mark.
And also David, of course.
Oh, Dave, mate. Yeah, you'd literally go to Dave and
he'd know everything about everything
about everything. And I loved that, because I loved seeing someone that loved their job so much and the industry so much.
Yeah, our shop would have been fucked if we didn't, because it was a completely new team apart from him.
Well, literally, like, I learned so much I used to love that I'd learn something new about outdoor clothes every single day, like, just by having conversations and just talking about it all. But yeah, and I think at this time I wanted to tell you, like, how much of an influence you had on me. Like, I'd look at cool cars. I'd want cool cars. I'd start buying stuff off Supreme.
I mean, it's vice versa, man. I literally, like I said, I wouldn't be at the gym if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't be, like, and I think it all stemmed from that chat we had on that walk. Like, I can't actually remember the main things we kind of touched on, but I remember because I felt really conscious about telling you, because I thought you were like, you know, party lad, geezer, go out every night, spoons. You got your boys, go to the gym, and then I was like, I'm about to tell you that, like, oh yeah, I'm straight edge, and I don't go out, and I listen to, you know, weird music, and I remember you.
That's why I thought you were so cool.
Well, yeah, you took it on, and you were like, and you were completely fine with that, and I remember even at one point you were saying, because you slowed down on drinking at one point.
Yeah,
I don't know if you drink, because last time I checked, your I don't, was it you who you were telling me you're now like an accidental lightweight because you just don't drink enough?
Yeah, well, I was at the time. So like at that point when I was at Jones's, I probably was like when we were talking about it, was it? Or was this like before that?
This was when we spoke about it first when we were on that walk when I first met you. But yeah, we did retouch on it when I came to Jones that time.
Yeah. So I probably was like, I just ended up, yeah. So basically after I went to Magaluf on holiday, I think I just didn't want to drink again. I didn't drink for probably about 8 or 9 months, and it felt so good. But maybe didn't drink to get drunk in that way.
Like not ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
just like after that, like one beer would have me on the floor. But you know, now I've picked that back up again. I do love a beer. Like I love going out and partying. But I think that's making up for lost time, because when I was at my old job, as I said, I was doing 80 to 90 hours a week in the gym. Like not all paid hours, but just had to be there for that amount of time, or I felt obliged to be there for that amount of time. And I ended up missing out on so much social events, either because I was at the gym working, or I was just too tired to go out. My social battery was just low, and I just didn't want to do that. So yeah, I missed out on a lot of experiences there. But I do like drinking now, but I'd like to think that I'm sensible-ish.
I mean, that's the best way I think to be as a drinker. You don't want to be too sensible that you can't let loose, but you want to be careless enough that you have memories.
But at the same time, I've thought loads of times about going teetotal, because I feel like now that I'm comfortable in myself, I don't feel like I need to drink to have a good time. I bring the same vibe. I bring the same, like, I bring a positive vibe either way.
That's the thing. Like every time, I mean, the very small amount of nights out that we had together through work, you weren't particularly drinking, but you definitely can bring a natural vibe to the space.
I think I'm easily excited, you know, like.
Oh, for sure.
That
even walking in today.
Nightcall, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, I can get excited about little things, like our Christmas do, just in this little tiny pub.
It was cute.
I was buzzing for it. I love it.
It was the first time we really got to see the gang like in a more natural element.
Yeah. Oh mate, just a big shout out to Stefan if he's listening. That boy.
I want him on.
Oh mate,
he's got to come on, man.
The guy has so many cool stories.
Did you hear about his camper van?
No.
He built a camper van. I think it might have been over lockdown. He was building a camper van all lockdown. And like I think it was day 2 or day 3 of his first trip in it. He took it up north to the Highlands, I assume. And parked up in a car park, went for a walk with Alice, came back, tree had just landed on it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's so bad. It made the news and everything.
No way. That poor guy.
And he'd
was
been
insured and stuff?
Yeah, obviously. And I think but I think that it's the time. Like he spent so long restoring this thing.
That poor guy.
I know, but I just remember hearing that and just being like that.
Oh, Stefan, man, I feel for you, brother.
But no, I will get that whole story in more detail.
Mate, yeah, definitely get Stefan on. That guy's a legend and the most lovable guy in the world.
Literally, yeah. Well, you and him are part of a very concentrated list of people who really like people who I met through a work environment that have genuinely like had such a good impact on me.
Cool, man. Like I thought he just brought some. I don't know. He just was. You were around Stefan and you felt chilled out.
You never saw him in a bad mood.
No, and he'd be, oh mate, I just want to give him a big hug. Exactly. Now. I mean, like, this is the effect he has.
And like, post when you'd left, it was just me and him for a little bit. There were times when I'm like, this environment is horrendously stressful right now, and Stefan was just like,
yeah, he just
gets on with it.
He just cracks on. I think he definitely has that sort of thing, that attitude that there's certain things you just can't change, so you just get on with it. Like, and I like that attitude.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy, man.
Yeah, mate, I'll be definitely listening to that episode when you have him on. 100%. I listen to most of them. They're good. I love this podcast because it's just like, it's nice. I always listen to it in the car. You know, when it's like you like when you're driving, you have people in the car, they're just having a conversation. You're just happy they're driving.
Yeah.
I like that. And that's what I use this podcast for.
I'm glad, because that's almost exactly like one of the environments that I was hoping this podcast would apply to.
I like it. And it's also nice because I don't get to see you very often, but it's one of those things. If I see you and it's been like, well, this is probably well over nearly 2 years.
I think 2 years.
Because last time I saw you, you came to my gym before it had been refurbished, which was before the first lockdown, which is more than like 18 months ago now. So it must be about 2 years, I reckon. Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. And then even before that was before.
But that was since Cotswold.
Well, we went to Rainbow Rock at that time, and that was interesting.
God.
That was strange. Well, I think we'll save that story for another time. I think you will get you back, and that can be your clickbait story to return to, because that was strange,
mate. That was weird. We won't say any more. But
I felt weird for a while after that.
I was in hospital that night.
Yeah, I know. I remember. I'm surprised that we didn't call the ambulance, like, because of the state of.
Mate, now I actually think back to it. That was so weird. Yeah, and it happened. Like that. And it was from something so minuscule.
Well, and I think everyone's just like, they need to know now, but we'll go into it another time.
Oh man.
But yeah, before that it was probably when you came to my gym after we got my gym had a refurb.
It's probably like only like the 4th or 5th time I've seen you in 5 years. No, 4 years. Surely that must mean that Cotswold must be coming to an end soon. Like, I doubt they're going to be renewing that lease. Surely.
Yeah, I remember.
Cotswold must be coming to an end. It's like 4-year lease, isn't it?
I have to pop in. I haven't been there in years, so I wouldn't know.
I go in there and get some like tape for my thumbs for the weightlifting.
Nice.
Good.
I've been meaning to. Arc'teryx are releasing a new beanie soon, and I'm hoping they're getting it in so I can be like, yo, Hermione, sort me a staff discount.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing the scout leader, but just forgot my card. Can you, mate? Can you give me that 15%?
I'm not here to kick off, but Archie used my discount without telling me after I'd quit.
Who's Archie?
Oh, you never met him.
Is he blonde? Blonde hair.
His hair was changing all the time.
Oh, he had like some colours in his hair.
Yeah. His hair. He got a different colour hair all the time, but he knows my neighbour's brother.
Right.
So he was using my discount for my neighbour's brother. No. I didn't know. And I got the email being like, thank you for your purchase. I was like, I haven't purchased anything.
Oh no, did you kick off?
So I rang the store and told Hermione. Hermione then tells Pete. Pete finds out none of our staff discounts have been, because obviously they're supposed to terminate as soon as we quit.
Right.
All of them were still live, like up until March this year, I think was when it happened.
March this year?
Yeah. And then he went through and was like, oh, none of your discount codes have been terminated. So I'm going to go through and just like, don't worry, mate, I've got it. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks, mate. Just please remove my discount that I was still enjoying using.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was
mad, mate. I can't believe that they were still running, because mine might have been running, maybe.
I can't remember. Actually, I think because you were one of the first to leave, and Dave was pretty on it.
Yeah,
but
Dave wouldn't have let that slip.
Yeah, when Dave left, and then when other people were leaving after Dave, like Dave could still use his discount. And I bumped into him the other day, which is hilarious. These random situations.
You told me on a voice. No. Where did I hear that? I've heard that somewhere.
I'm pretty sure I dropped you a message.
Yeah. Was it a voice note and you bumped in? Yeah, I think it was. Because we were talking. I think we were talking about the podcast then. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I bumped in. Yeah, because I literally saw him. Literally, funnily enough, through to episode 3, Callum. He's an artist in Letchworth, and they do like an open gallery thing where they're selling their stuff. Yeah. And then so one of the artists, I think she's like a pop art artist, kind of digital art stuff.
Yeah.
That was Dave's wife, who we met a few times. So
they just had a kid, hadn't they?
Yeah. So I just was like, I was like, Dave? He was like, Matt? I always, because I always feel like I look crazy different, so I always feel like I have to be like, do you remember me? It's me, Matt. Because like,
I don't think he could forget you, mate.
Apparently I'm unforgettable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
100%.
But it was good to finally talk to Dave in an environment that wasn't work.
Yeah, was he sound?
Yeah, he was still a bit like, I remember he messaged me on Facebook like not long after that, being like, "Did you know both of us are still moderator for the Run Club?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
I'm you know,
I still get.
I could ruin that page.
Yeah, we all could. Should we just switch over, change it to something else?
Well, I literally, this was dangerous. I got really drunk like a few months ago, and they just when like you're scrolling through social media, and then you're just looking at stuff, and I stumbled across the Run Club page, and literally this would have been awful if I'd done anything, but I was so tempted to write something or to change something, but I didn't. But if you're listening, anyone from Cotswold, sort that out, because
I still get like to approve people entering in and stuff.
Yeah, because I approved someone I knew. And I wanted them to be like, they didn't message me, which I was really annoyed about. Because I wanted them to be like, "Oh, what? Why have you approved me?" I'll be like, "Well, I ran this first ever Run Club.
Oh, mate, that was good. I never ever ran one. I said I would, and I never did.
Oh, mate.
No, I had a very short-lived trail running phase that no one actually believes happened because I didn't Strava it.
No, you did. I remember. And you had the
Cloud Venture Peaks,
yes,
which are still surviving just about.
I've seen you try to sell them a couple of times.
No, I tried to sell the edges, the other pair.
Did you rate them?
I like both my ons. I've now kept both of them.
Mine, I had the road running ones, and they broke down so quickly. But I can see that the trail ones are a bit more well built. But the road ones, they just collapse so quick.
Well, that's the thing. Like actually running, when I had those horrible coloured Speed Cross, those were the best shoe I've trail run in. Like easily.
Yeah, I've got a pair of Speed Cross.
No question.
They're quality. They are really good.
Yeah, like so the Cloud Venture Peaks are good. They are a bit like I don't know. On the trails they're nice, but they don't claw the ground like a Speed Cross does.
The Speed Cross, that's the ultimate shoe.
Yeah.
I get people walking around the gym. Have you ever seen someone walking around a gym in Speed Cross? I'm just thinking.
What? There's one guy who turns up and you can tell he's like one of them Tough Mudder chaps.
Yeah.
So he's covered in tattoos, wears his Tough Mudder singlet, and he's like goes and does like some really like 20 really poor form chin-ups and then leaves.
It honestly, it pains me seeing that. It pains me seeing someone walking around in Speed Cross when they shouldn't be on their feet anywhere near this place.
Well, that's the things that one of those things that Cotswolds instilled in me. It's just because Salomon as a brand is now very kind of street fashion. Loads of people are starting to wear
outdoor clothing in general, isn't it? It's just
it's the Gorp core wave.
I see people wearing things. And I'm like, do you know what you'd actually use that for? Do you know what that's actually functional for? But like, I like it because I think these brands need to be. I'm glad that these brands are being supported,
and these are brands that are like well built, so they'll wear these things and you can wear them to clothing. Exactly.
And I know that Rab, for example, they try and be as ethical as they can with their down. They do a lot of.
The rep would not shut up about that.
No, they wanted us to shout
forward.
about that.
Ethically sourced hydrophobic down.
Yeah, man. But that I like that about these clothes.
Yeah.
And this is why they're more expensive, because everyone that I knew would come into Cotswold and say it's so expensive. But I'd be like, there's a reason for that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm going to have a full fashion episode where I'm going to go into detail about how I despise.
I can't wait for that. I love hearing you talk about fashion and clothes.
But like my whole, because I fucking despise fast fashion. I think like when it comes to like, if you want to be vegan for ethical purposes, if you want to be, if you don't want to own a car for ethical purposes, no, fuck all that. The one that's really important is stop shopping fast fashion.
Yeah, man.
And I can go into detail and it's instilled in people. They just think, it's not normal to spend under 20 quid on a hoodie. No. I'm sorry. I know you want like a cheap hoodie to be cheap, but like you can spend 20 quid on a meal out, like a meal out one night or a hoodie. Does that not send off alarm bells?
Yeah. Like
someone is getting exploited for that hoodie, and
Yeah.
you're going to wear it for about 4 months until it falls apart and it's going to go on to like a landfill site.
But you pay like, I don't know what I don't think, if you pay like 40 quid for a hoodie as like, let's say a ballpark sort of figure,
Yeah.
like it's gonna last you. It's
Already,
and like if it's like also potentially a brand, you might think, right, I'm gonna keep this for longer.
Yeah.
But I like that.
When you don't want to keep it, you chuck it to a charity shop and it actually sells.
Yeah, man.
No one's going to pick up. Don't take your Primark shit to a charity shop because 90% of that's going to end up in landfill.
Yeah, exactly. And check out my drip, everybody.
Obviously.
I'm wearing a North Face quarter zip, but I know
Glacier quarter zip.
Yeah, I'll be wearing this like when I'm like 45.
It's functional, and this is why I like this wave of outdoor clothing, and
because hopefully people will keep these, right?
Yeah, and obviously on top of that, and this is because I've been moderating, the Arcturus Talk Facebook group. Just if anyone,
I'm still in that as well.
If anyone wants to, well, that blew up over lockdown.
Did it?
Because it was only like 2,000 members before lockdown, and now we're coming up to I think 9,000.
Wow,
or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but this wave is like my main thing I wanted to do, because like you can just moderate the group, make sure everyone's being good, but I want to kind of be like, right, you're all buying the clothes now, use them in the right environment. Let's communicate the mindset. Let's go outdoors. Let's be more conscious about like how ethical we're being.
Do what you're dressing for.
And environmentally conscious as well. All of that. I
love that.
So that's something that I've been trying to push for, and I've always pushed for as one of my selling tactics. When I was at Cotswolds, I was like, look, you can buy your crummy little fast fashion North Face jacket from JD Sports next door, or you can buy this mountain equipment jacket that's going to last you years and years and years.
Yeah.
You're probably going to hand it down. If you don't want to hand it down, you can stick it on eBay, make some money off it, and then someone's going to use it for the DOV project, and that jacket's going to last a lot longer. And eventually, if it does break, you can send it back to mountain equipment. They can fix it and send it back to you again.
I bought a Rab jacket, and I never thought I'd spend £200 on a coat before. And like, this jacket is the best jacket I will ever own, ever. And I hope that it never dies. And I think even then, like with these brands, if it does go to shit, you can send it back to them and get it refill. I think with Rab, you can pay a fee, refluffed.
Refluff.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they call it. Is it fill power? So I'm assuming they would just refill it down.
Yeah, and like I love that, and you can't do that with your, I don't think you can do it like your,
well,
standard.
my nan, for example, she comes around and she's like, I've got an outdoor jacket, and it's an M&S down jacket in quotation marks, like it's the goose down. There is a little bit of goose down in there, but it's probably the worst, most probably
unethically sourced,
horrendous, and it's in this fancy gold zips, but none of them are like windproof zips.
No.
And all of that, and it's not very adjustable. And she's like, yeah, but it's funny. My nan, I got a lot of inspiration from my grandparents, because they've got their old wardrobe, because they went down to Patagonia, and they literally bought Patagonia brand stuff whilst they were in Patagonia, and they've got these old Patagonia jackets. But I'm like, stick to that. You've got it. But then
are they valuable? Do you reckon?
They're not quite on the level of because a lot of old Patagonia stuff goes for stupid money now. The boa fleece, for example. Same with the original North Face mountain parka, and the same with the Arcturus, like the Theta AR Arcturus jackets. They're all like myths in this day and age.
Yeah,
like finding a good and it's all fashion at this point. They're not quite on that level, I don't think. But
I find it interesting how clothes like that rack up such a value.
Oh, it's crazy.
I love it.
It's like the original. From years ago, my favorite thing was that the original Expedition Transantarctic North Face mountain parkas and the anoraks. They were so cool. and you see them pop up now, and they're like £2,000 or £3,000.
Mm.
And if you actually want like an original that was worn by a guy that went on the expedition in the 90s, you're looking at like 10K.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? How I think it's so cool, but like I can appreciate it. It's got a lot of like value behind it and meaning, and it's been on a journey. Like,
well, I think and I think with lockdown, and I know we keep not wanting to talk about it, but it's an event to be referenced. It's triggered this wave of people being a bit more conscious of that. You know, like I think everyone's having a side hustle of like, oh yeah, they're actually going to sell their stuff off, and
and also like on the flip side of that, people saved a bit of money with like if you were lucky enough to get some furlough. And
if you were lucky enough and you saved money and like people were sensible about it, you know,
you can spend it on that, be a bit more free with your spending, and you can afford to delve into this stuff if it interests you.
Yeah, well, some of my friends have bought houses because of, you know, we had the Bitcoin boom.
Oh,
Bitcoin
no way! Yeah,
over lockdown.
Because I remember we learned about this in school. Like cryptocurrency.
That's the difference between me and you there. That's the difference between what 2 years can do. When I was in school, crypto was not spoken about.
Yeah, well, I did finance as a level.
Nice.
It was a very cushy A level. It was the exams were multiple choice. Like I was thinking, get in there, easy. But literally, like at the time, Bitcoin was worth less than £1 per Bitcoin, and I was, you know. The teacher actually said to us, I think she must have said something along the lines of, you guys should look into it.
Yeah.
It's literally, we brushed over it in 5 minutes, but the teacher said, you should look into this. It might be worth something one day.
Yeah, well, everyone had their, I could have been rich story. Mine's not that interesting, but I think it was summer of 2012. I wanted a DLC for this game called Civilization 5. My PC could barely run it, but I wanted because like, you know, when you and your mates were out enjoying the sun, me and my mates were staying inside, surrounded by fans, playing video games to hide from the sun. And the game of that year was Civilization 5. And there was the Brave New World DLC, and I don't condone G2A because they steal people's product codes. But you go on G2A, the game was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
In this case, I think it would have been like 20 quid, and then at the time it was like it's either 20 quid, or if you can convert it to the equivalent in Bitcoin, we'll give you a 20% discount. So I was like, okay. So I ended up paying for it with like 2.3 Bitcoin or something.
Oh, really?
And obviously at its prime, 2.3 Bitcoin's almost £100,000. But back then it was like 15, 16 pound. And I didn't think anything of it until obviously back in 2017 there was that first bull run, and I was like, whoa, I should have bought this shit. And then I finally bought Bitcoin. I should have bought it at the beginning of lockdown. Someone messaged me, one of my fashion friends on Instagram. His name's Frank. Shout out, because he has really put me on the grind in terms of being actually financially sensible. But in March, back when like just before the crazy hype, he was like, yo, dude, just want to give you a heads up. Have you ever looked into Bitcoin? And I was like, hey, I don't know. And he was like, look, follow my code, get onto Coinbase, put like £100 in and forget about it. And I was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And then didn't. And I think boomed. Like I want to be accurate with the numbers here so I can be right.
Yeah.
But
I must have been wrong with the Bitcoin. It definitely wasn't worth less than £1 when I looked into it, but they did tell us to check it out.
There was a time when it was worth less than £1, and that's what's scary.
Yeah.
Like,
even like back in 2012, if it was worth 2.3, it was worth like 20 quid. That's mad. How it's fluctuated so much.
Yeah. So March. Yeah. So he asked me in March in March was like, I think it was the end of March where there was that big dip, £4,700 coin. I can't even look back as far as 2012, 2011. It might have even been 2010. It might have been earlier.
Wow.
But in 2013 it was £68 a coin. Then so we had that first bull run, but he chased me up. I remember now. It was November, like the 25th of November, and I just waited for this little. And he was like, if he told me, he was like, if you bought £100 of that crypto, then you would have had 250 quid now. And I was like, oh, fuck, fine. All right, I'm going to follow your link and I'm going to do it right now. You can watch me do it. So I bought it in November when it was already, so it already jumped from 4,000 a coin to 14,000 a coin. And then, since that, like that's when my first big deposit was. And then obviously during March of this year, we peaked at 50,000 almost? Yeah, £47,000.
Wow, I didn't realize it got up that high.
I'm still in now, and I've got friends who had bought back. I think the really crucial time to buy was 2019. You had such a good gap that beginning of 2019. You had such a good gap to buy into it because that was like, I think that's when a friend of mine, he got told to put $2,000 in. He put his life savings, or like just like split up his savings.
Wow.
Put $2,000 in on back in 2019. I think he's sitting on like 45k now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, and then it depends what exactly you believe of crypto. I'm not condoning any of it, and I'm not super confident, but I think it's inevitable that it's just only going to get bigger. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we get £100,000 a coin.
It's one of those things where it's so daunting to try and learn about. I feel like because there's people that are so.
Well, Stefan, he was big into it, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I remember laughing at him, being just like, what are you doing?
I was just thinking, this is not me. And then, and there's people that are so good at it now. It makes me feel like I could never get good at it because of how good other people are already.
Yeah, and some people just over lockdown, just right place, right time, and now fucking millionaires.
But I reckon there's little 12-year-olds learning how to code and stuff in their rooms and just researching this stuff, and they are gonna, because that's just a way that it's just the way it's going, isn't it? You can tell.
Well, when I was 18, I was trying to figure out how to. I was like, people are bit mining. I'm gonna try and figure out how to mine Bitcoin, and I spent like a whole week just trying to figure it out. And my brain back then, I was just like, one, I'm dumb, and two, it was really hard to do. Now. You do 2 clicks on an app and you can download a client that will mine on your PC for you. You can do it on your phone. You can mine on your phone just by installing a fucking app.
It's mental, isn't it?
The accessibility of it is crazy now.
It's one of those things, like, I don't know if it's capable of crashing. Will there ever be like too many people doing it?
Well, that's the thing, it opens up. I mean, this is completely, both of us, I think, are out of our depth on this, but it's like, but like, it's like, because you got all the billionaires who are like, it's going to crash. I'm like, are you just saying that because you're scared?
You can manipulate the result.
Exactly.
Like, no, not the result. You can
Elon Musk did it, He manipulated Dogecoin so much, and I made a hefty bit of profit off of that, and I was grateful for it. But other people got very poor off of it, and that's kind of
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing. I'll eventually, if I feel like I'm clever enough, I'll probably talk about it with Steph when I get him on.
Yeah, I'd like to see what someone who has, he seemed to have really delved into it and given it a go.
Well, the good thing is Stefan doesn't feel like, because I know a lot of people who are like, it's endgame, like, fuck fiat. They're like, they're anti-government, like, I can't remember what the term is. Every currency apart from, so Bitcoin is unregulated, that's the word. And so they're all anti-regulated currency. Bitcoin's the future, cryptos are the future because like the government can't manipulate it. There's people like that I'm like, oh shit, like, dude, calm down. It's still early days. Like anything could happen. Like China, for example, just like, all right, no one's allowed to touch Bitcoin. And that caused the last crash.
Yeah. There's that there's a country now that has Bitcoin as its currency.
Isn't it Akon's country?
I don't know.
I know you might be thinking of something else, but I know Akon is starting. his own country, and he's using Acorn coin as the currency.
Because I heard it on do you know who the True Geordie is?
Is he the guy who hosted the boxing fights?
Yes,
He was.
I really like him. He's cool. I listened to his podcast when I was running yesterday, and he said that like there's literally a country. The word in my head is Guatemala. Is that a country?
Guatemala's a country.
That might be it. Something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
But either way, I just feel like that's mental.
That'd be crazy. I mean, I think I wouldn't mind a future where countries run off crypto instead of, because I mean, if any, and I'll touch on this in a little bit because I'm hoping to keep this under 2 hours. But yeah, like in terms of the future of Bitcoin, future of all of that, and how the whole year has been with general currency, like I don't want to get a statistic wrong, and we've probably thrown out some dumb statistics this episode, but
you don't quote me on anything.
There is something like 30%, no, probably more than that. A third, yeah, maybe it is a 30%, 33%, a third of the US dollar that's in rotation now was printed during lockdown to counteract, to stop the economy crashing.
Wow.
And we're seeing it already in the UK with the rise of fuel prices. That we won't even touch on the lack of fuel right now. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But fuel prices going up, food's going to go up, the tax problem as well. I'm not going to get political, but that's
the end of the world.
That is a pro-gamer move from the Conservative Party. It's just, what we're going to do? Tax the poor, which is a great idea when you're filthy fucking rich and you forget poor people exist. But anyway,
I'm for full-on anarchy.
Oh, mate, I literally was like, yeah, let's just pandemonium. I'm ready for it at this point. Let's
have it. Let's have it.
We're an end game, guys. Like, we're slowly frying the planet we're living on.
No.
So
50 years we're gone.
Exactly. So let's just start kicking off now.
Yeah, mate.
What are they going to do?
Let's make it interesting. Come on.
If we all stop going to work, they can't do anything, guys.
Yeah, and then we're probably using less petrol as well.
Exactly.
Just start a revolution, Matt.
Through this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you with us?
This is actually a cult, guys. This is not a podcast. There is actually, if you put this in reverse, we've actually this whole episode have been putting subliminal messages, hidden meanings.
Every time we do a statistic, it is a command that we want you to do.
Everyone look up Denver Airport right now. Denver Airport conspiracy, everyone.
What is it?
Mate, you watch. That's
is one of my. Scary?
It's just weird. It's kind of an ongoing joke with a couple of my NYC friends. And I don't know if they listen to this, so this is probably meaning nothing.
Shout out NYC.
But they I can't remember what brought it up, but it was just basically, I think it's Denver, Colorado, but it's like an airport that I think, if I get this correctly, it's the second one. The first one was small and didn't need. I'm only going to touch on this briefly because it's a stupid conspiracy, but also really
maybe something for me to do my homework on.
You might find it entertaining at least, but basically it's this. They built this brand new airport, and and I remember it's like there's like a tunnel network underneath it. There's all these strange murals, and the airport is way too big for what it needs to be. And it's got like double the amount of they don't even use half of the airstrips because they don't need to. And it's like, why did they build this so big? Why are they and then I remember, I might be wrong, but there's like these tunnels underneath it that have like gassing systems across this roof, so people are like, is this some sort of like, I don't know, I'm not gonna throw anything crazy out there, but anyway, it's
something that I should go and look at and then make my
genuinely one of the more interesting conspiracies out there.
All right.
And on that note, before the tinfoil hats go on, I've really enjoyed this podcast.
Mate, it's been awesome. Thank you so
glad
much
we've been able
me.
to have a catch up after like 2 years.
Mate, it's been a long time, too long, but it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I'll be dragging you because I know I messaged you about, because you did your boot camp and missed it because my motivation just hit the floor.
It's
But
fine. Well, mate, you get you down to the garage.
we'll do something, man. I've got too many gym lad friends who have built gyms in their garages, and they're trying to get me to come see them.
Mate,
But
so
I do
come to
want
my garage.
yours looks good. You got the party lights, don't you?
You got some party lights?
Yeah, I'll be
have
there.
a party in there,
I'll bring the decks.
mate. Love it.
Get spinning.
I love it.
Thank you, man. This is good.
Thank you.